Welcome to this week's episode of Showcase. We're your hosts, Ines
and Nina. This week is a sports special. We look back at the ISSTs and the medals won. We look ahead to the Hamper Project and finally our special student showcase. But first, this.
Congratulations to this week's Film Clue winners. The answer was Avengers Endgames, of course. You will be receiving your week-long lunch passes.
Keep a lookout for this week's clue, and you could also win a week-long lunch pass. Send your answer to us at the email address on the screen.
2 weeks ago were the ISSTs, and the Cougars performed more than admirably, winning 2 gold medals and 3 bronze medals.
In football, the girls' varsity overcame a tough schedule, traveling to Brussels and playing 2 matches on the first day. The team brushed it off with ease and made it comfortably into the final, where it went to the wire against our long-standing rivals, ASL.
It was a tight affair with the teams tied 1-1 after extra time. Finally going to penalties with Jasmine, who had only been the squad's goalkeeper for 2 months, making a blinding save in sudden death, and as a result, Cobham won the goal.
It is fair to say that she was the hero of the day, bringing Cobham to victory and placing them in the record books.
Going into the tournament, the boys' varsity were having a tough time with 1 win and 2 losses against Brookswood and Wellington College.
They struggled, only just making it into the semi-finals, facing off against ASP in the semis, and following a tight game, it was 3-3 after extra time, going once again to penalties. Unfortunately, Cobham's old woes returned, and their performance was weak in the final shootout.
As was typical of Cobham's season, they got close, but just fell short. However, there was some consolation for the boys. After the lose in the semis, they went into the 3rd, 4th game.
They performed well and won 3rd place, with player of the tournament going to Mateo. Well done to both teams.
In volleyball, the boys had a poor season, so going into the tournament expectations weren't high. Initially losing their first 2 matches on the first day, the team came together on the 2nd day and played their hearts out. Rising from 5th place to unbelievably winning the bronze medal, their drive and spirit shown was truly amazing.
It just shows that it's never over until it's over. Their coach, Mr. Heikio, said that they won the bronze, quote, "The team exceeded my expectations to come back and get the bronze just shows the passion the boys had," unquote.
The girls, on the other hand, had gone into the ISSTs almost unbeaten, only losing to ISL. Nevertheless, the girls went into the tournament with a lot of confidence, and that confidence was definitely on show, winning all of their group stage matches and breezed through the semis.
Then came the final, where once again ACS Cobham were going to face ASL, the team who beat them twice. It's fair to say the team wanted some payback, and payback they got in a thrilling final in front of a huge crowd. ACS dominated ASL, beating them 3-1 and making it the 2nd consecutive year they've won the tournament.
Finally, the boys cross country had a poor end to their season. They were tipped to once again with gold for ACS. However, their trip to Zurich was a trip to forget. Almost missing their flight, then once in Zurich, their star runner Vishal, who was also tipped to win gold, came down with the flu and as a result struggled his way through his race and eventually coming 67th.
Overall, the boys came to a heartbreaking 4th, with Khalil being the best runner for the team. However, for the girls, it was a completely different story. They had not faced the drama the boys had and were ready for the race in Zurich.
With such a young girl squad, could they get into the medals? Well, after a tight race, they did just that, taking the bronze medal, which meant with a combined 4th and 3rd, respectively, ACS finished 3rd overall.
Congratulations to all of the teams that participated.
Woo!
You made ACS proud.
Moving away from sports, the Hamper Project comes to an end next Wednesday, the 4th of December, when the hampers will be presented to the charities. So this is the final week to get all donations in.
Remember, your donations make a huge difference to families, so please give generously and let's help families have a Christmas they'll never forget.
And finally, it's time to showcase another ACS student. This week, it's Simon, a film by 2nd year film student Tara.
I play the saxophone. I started in 5th grade, so I guess this is my 8th year now. In terms of getting into music, I started when we were growing up in Nigeria and we all had that recorder stage. I guess what ultimately got me into the piano and eventually the saxophone was the fact that I kind of wanted to play more notes than the recorder had. and the saxophone was the next step from there. So in terms of jazz playing, solos are a big part of that, and that's all based in like creative expression. So one player that I try to emulate is Miles Davis. Although not strictly for saxophone, I try to use his motifs in some of my playing, which is always nice. So the type of music I listen to for saxophone is mainly jazz. So Charlie Parker, Miles Davis. I listen to a lot of kind of free jazz, which is based on a lot of like self-expression. It doesn't have to be very neat and orderly. I do listen to a lot of Charlie Parker and Miles Davis, which is based fundamentally on free jazz, which is that like creative unbounded like self-expression. It is based on that like uncontained beyond the bars music, which I like to kind of emulate during solos. What inspires me to keep going with music is the fact that it's something I can't really put down. It's kind of like a book that you can't necessarily put down. It's a roller coaster that you've got on and you can't get off. In terms of music, like music has become part of my identity. And as such, if I had ever given it up, then I would have lost part of who I am. Being that it's my last year in high school now, going off to college, I'd like to at least start 1 or 2 jazz clubs. But it's definitely something I'd want to continue. I don't think I'd ever want to lose it. So the ACS music department for me is all about progress. It's about acceleration. It's about opportunities. I don't think that I would have had any of the opportunities that were given to me without, the ACS music department and their involvement with the students. Personally, I've had an experience with jazz band, which is based on a lot of collaboration itself. And I think it's a point that I brought up earlier in the year, but I found that the music department to me means it isn't limited by the grades, it transcends the grades. I've definitely enjoyed my 8 years here. It's something nice to look back on, We have, going on to college, we're gonna have all these memories that we're gonna look back on and we're gonna smile on them because they were good times. So I think, if anything, what I enjoyed most about my time here was not just the music, but also the people I've worked with. They've been incredible.
That just about does it for this week's episode. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with an update of everything going on at ACS, and we will be starting a new segment to get you ready for the exams, which are only 4 weeks away.
If you spotted the film clue, email us for your chance to win the week-long lunch passes. We look forward to hear from you. As always, you can see every episode on our YouTube channel by clicking on the QR code on the screen.
Fino alla prossima puntata, io sono la vostra presentatrice Nina.
Et je suis Ines, et ça, c'était Showcase.